So Will teased this already, so you guys know what's coming, but it's my pleasure to introduce Whitney Stutts, the director of the UNC MAP Corps, and she will be speaking about her experience with the Move Analytical Kit as well as all of her other mass spectrometry experience. So Whitney.
Thank you, Susie, for the kind introduction, and thank you all for being here today. It's great to see so many familiar faces and new faces all interested in metabolomics, which is a passion of mine and our core. So as Susie mentioned, my name is Whitney Stutts. I'm director of the Metabolomics and Proteomics core at UNC Chapel Hill. And today I'm going to follow up on what Will presented and give you a take on our experience working with the Move Analytical Bile Acid Kit. So first, just to give you an overview of our core facility, we've been around for a long time, but historically primarily focused on proteomics. So 2 years ago, we added metabolomics, and I joined the core, and also brought on some other new metabolomics experts, which you'll see highlighted in my talk today. But one of the things we really prioritize is working with our collaborators from the very beginning, so study design, all the way through data analysis and interpretation. So we call that a full service recharge core. Another thing I like to highlight is who we serve. So this has been really exciting to me coming to Chapel Hill, where there's a medical school, a lot of great clinicians as well that know enough to be interested. So we work with over 20 departments at the university, as well as external academic labs and external industry groups. And in the last 2 years, we've had over 70 different groups at UNC reach out interested in metabolomics. So as they come to us and we do consultations, we take notes of what people are most interested in. So you might be gathering, at least a few people have mentioned bile acids, which is why we were very interested in this new opportunity to collaborate with Thermo and with Move Analytical. So we are a Thermo Fisher Scientific Center of Excellence. We have a lot of instrumentation from Thermo in our core, 3 instruments primarily running metabolomics workflows, and then 4 for proteomics. We have a lot of front-end separation tools as well, both LC and capillary electrophoresis. And you might not be surprised to know that most of the requests we get are for untargeted metabolomics. So people in the discovery phase of a project, hypothesis generating at first. And if you've done this before, you know it can get very complicated quickly, especially going between a lot of different matrices and sample types. And our primary bottleneck is on the data analysis side always. So annotation is the thing that takes us the most time, and also expertise. So 2 years ago at ASMS, Thermo announced Stellar, and we were very excited, as you can see in the picture here, when it was delivered to our lab, this idea of moving from discovery-based workflows to targeted analysis. I've highlighted some of the key capabilities. If you know my work, I love lipids, so there's a lot of, I think, opportunities to use Stellar for lipidomics workflows as well. But we've been prioritizing that list of analytes that we've gotten from our collaborators. We have a central carbon metabolite panel as well as an amino acid panel. And what I'm going to talk about today, of course, is bile acids. So Will did a great job. I won't go into too much detail here talking about why we care about bile acids, but they have been implicated in a number of different health and disease type studies. So key research areas at UNC are highlighted on this slide. And they're interesting because they're formed in the liver, but they really move throughout the body and give us an idea of host microbiome interactions. So we think this is going to be a panel that a lot of folks at UNC are going to be interested in running. So a few months ago, Will reached out and said, we have this cool kit that will work on your instruments. And at around the same time, we had a graduate student in his 5th year in the department who said, I want to learn metabolomics. I want to use the instruments and analyze data. And Crystal Pace on our team and I got together and thought, what could we, possibly offer this person? Because it's hard to just introduce someone within a few weeks and have them going. But this was a great opportunity. The kit had everything included that would be needed to set up an experiment and really get through a study in, a few days. So you can see here the end-to-end workflow where we have a kit that comes with everything that's needed for sample prep. We have a LCMS method, thanks to Susie and her team, as well as others who've developed this workflow on multiple instruments. We have run controls and then data analysis pipeline as well. So this is really a great training opportunity in addition to a great kit for measuring bile acids. Will highlighted this in his talk, but it's easy experimental setup. So you put in your sample list and you quickly have your run sequence. It's a lot easier than teaching someone all the thermo software that they need to use to run a method like this, a targeted workflow. And then the quick system suitability tests and data quality checks is another nice feature. So in real time, you can view your data in the dashboard, know that your instrument is performing well and that your data quality is looking good and that no reinjections are needed. Or if they are, in real time, which is a nice feature. So here I'm showing just the first bit of data from the early adopters program that we participated in on our Stellar platform. As expected, you can see nice separation of the 3 different matrices that were tested. So this is serum, urine, and fecal samples. And you get the QC plot as well that shows our pooled QC samples as well as our low and high QC standards on the plot at the bottom. And if we look at our data from our lab run on both instruments, I should have mentioned that. So not only did the student get experience on one instrument, he got to run a high-res platform and also a Stellar method and compare that data. And we get really nice agreement looking at the data from our pooled QC samples run on both platforms. This was another really nice piece of data that came out of the multi-lab. So in San Jose, Thermo and Cynthia Grimm developed the workflow for the Stellar platform. And we got the same samples, ran them on our Stellar and compared the data, and again, got really nice correlation with their lab. And Cynthia is going to have a poster later today, so I encourage you to check that out. There'll be a lot more details for the other matrices and all the work they did on the method development side. So now getting into one of our first pilot projects using the kit. This was a study with the microbiome core at UNC. They had clinical samples, both serum and fecal samples from a prebiotic intervention study. So this is a LACNAC-enriched GOS, or what's known as humanized GOS. So these are glycan motifs that are found in human milk and also intestinal mucus. And it's thought that they could modulate the gut microbiome and potentially bile acids. So we received a few samples from their core to do some initial screening for these analytes. The intervention, too, I'll mention, was 28 days. And we had samples from both baseline and after 28 days of treatment. So here you can see again, we can use the Move Analytical app to get a quick snapshot of our data. And the serum samples, maybe not so surprisingly, these grouped by participant more so than treatment. So that tells us our individual gut microbiomes are very different and they do impact our bile acid composition. But then looking at trends in this data set, so this is from 5 participants in the study, and we observe an increase in circulating bile acids following the supplementation with this prebiotic. And in particular, the taurine conjugated bile acids were observed to be increasing in serum. And person 3 was really a strong responder compared to others. So that's something we're looking into further. Looking at the fecal samples from this same study, again, there's a wide distribution in the PCA plot that you see for the individuals in the study. And again, not too surprising considering our diets vary a lot. So we see that in this data set as well. You can see that in the CV plot. So our technical reproducibility is great, but we do have a lot of variability between individual human samples. One thing I'll point out here, which I think is a great way to highlight what Will was saying, is in our samples, since these were from multiple participants, we report 31 of the 32 bile acids. So it's a very complex sample for these types of measurements. Another thing we noticed early on when prepping the samples is participant 1 had almost no material in their fecal tube, which was pretty easy to see because it was clear in color, and that came through in the data. So when we plot all the bile acids measured, or at least the top 12 here, you can see very low red bars. So there weren't a lot of analytes measured in that particular sample. So we excluded that when we were looking at these other comparisons for these samples. And from the 4 participants that were included, although we don't reach statistical significance, there are a number of bile acids that are observed to be either increasing in 3 out of 4 of the participants or decreasing in all 4 of those measured. You can see those outlined here. I thought another nice way to capture just how informative this type of large targeted panel could be would be to look at shifts in bile acid composition between different classes of bile acids. And one thing that came out that was really interesting from this study is a shift in conjugation. So after 28 days of supplementation with this prebiotic, we see each patient in all 5 cases shifting lower in glycine conjugated bile acids and the increase in taurine conjugated bile acids. So I'm not exactly sure what the biology is here, but it's something that certainly piques our interest, and I'm reaching out to our microbiome experts now to try to learn more about this. Looking at the total bile acid pool after intervention, we can look at these paired changes. And one thing that was notable is that the total bile acid pool is increasing in all 5 patients after supplementation with this prebiotic. And we're almost reaching statistical significance. So this tells me we have more work to do. We need to run more samples, but likely a trend that we would see in the 80 sample cohort that they have on hand from this clinical study. Feces, we did not see the same sort of correlation with treatment. So those seem very individualized. In a few cases, some participants, we see lower total bile acid. Again, that red line is our outlier, so we could kind of ignore that one and say, well, maybe there is a slight decrease in fecal bile acids following treatment. Then if we look at the comparison here of the serum pool and the fecal sample pools, you can see quite a big difference. So serum is dominated by the glycine conjugated bile acids, about 50% of the bile acids in serum, while the fecal samples are mostly unconjugated. So this reflects an active gut bacterial deconjugation process, and I think is an interesting way of looking at these different matrices and thinking about how bile acids are shifting in the host. So key takeaways here for me. I wanted to highlight first the streamlined workflow and easy implementation. So I think Will's promise was to make metabolomics easier. I think that's going to be a big lift, but it's nice that we're moving in that direction. I think the more time we can spend thinking outside the box, it will be great. So it'll be how we spend our time and trying to streamline things that can be made easier. Coverage for the kit looked really great on our system. So we had 31 bile acids measured in the fecal samples and 28 measured in serum. And one thing too was the sulfated bile acids are reported with this workflow. So we get an increase in coverage over a lot of the other methods that we've implemented previously. And lastly, for the platform comparison, we saw really good correlation on our 2 platforms and then also in the multi-lab with Thermo. And there are a few advantages of different instrumentation. So if you have particular interest in certain bile acids, I'm sure all of us would be happy to talk with you about some of those nuances. But by and large, the kit worked really well on both of the systems that we tried. So lastly, I'd like to acknowledge all the great work from our team, especially Crystal Pace, who is here at the meeting and will be presenting on Thursday. So I encourage you to check out her presentation, which will be on some really exciting untargeted work she's been doing in multi-omics space. And then Yibo C, who was the student that worked with us on this project, also contributed a lot and now is a lover of metabolomics. So that's our claim to fame. We sold him on it. So with that, I thank our collaborators as well, Move Analytical and Will and his team, and Susie and her team at Thermo, and our support. And thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Whitney. We have time for one question, if anyone would like to come up to the microphone. Well, I have a question because Whitney roasted me slightly by complaining about Thermo software, which I think it's fair. Okay, you guys, it's fair. I get it. So if you can talk about if there was an improvement to Thermo software, what is on your wish list? Because I am certain there are ears in the audience listening.
Targeted or untargeted?
Do you tell them? Yeah.
Okay, for targeted?
Yeah.
For targeted. For targeted, I think we do have to find a better way of peak integration, making that process easier. So using either something like indexed retention time or some other way of, having the software do more of the hard work instead of us, for targeted. For untargeted, annotations are the biggest challenge. Our databases aren't large enough, and even as they get larger, it just makes the data more complicated because you get more hits. Mm-hmm. So it's a challenge. I don't know how easy it will be to solve.
It isn't, but as everyone knows, if you're a Compound Discoverer user, we have different versions and iterations every year, and Whitney is being modest in that she has actually contributed to some of the additional annotation confidence workflows that we have in Compound Discoverer 3.5 that was recently launched. So I do invite you to learn more about that. But
Thanks. So you're not so mad, right?
No,
okay.
I'm over it.
Okay, she's over it.
Like a goldfish. Yeah. All right, let's thank Whitney.